It's another edition of Speed Chronicles. It's Wednesday here on the RevTV YouTube channel. We do it every Wednesday, talk about stories in racing, things that are happening, things that we think might happen, and some other cool stuff. Don't really focus too much on results. At Todd Lewis Sports, at RevTV, to provide some feedback if you've got thoughts, ideas, questions, and the like. A lot of interesting stories from this past weekend as IMSA wrapped up their season. The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Challenge concluded with the Petit Le Mans, the 10-hour extravaganza at Road Atlanta. Such a fabulous racetrack. Haven't been there in a while, but super fun, really interesting, challenging, and difficult course. They had a great crowd again for IMSA, which has been on a real roll this year in terms of crowds and crowd sizes, record crowds at most, if not all, events. Great ratings for television as well, which is wonderful to see, and a lot of good stories as well, not just in the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, but other IMSA racing series as well. At Wilkins and Philippi, who won again in the Michelin Pilot Challenge Series for Brian Herta Autosport and had themselves a very good year. We had Rexy from AO Racing holding on to win the GTD Pro Championship. What a fantastic story. And this team has caught lightning in a bottle and really done something special with their Rexy livery on that beautiful sports car in the WeatherTech Championship. The merchandise is crazy that it sells out instantly. The lineups at autograph sessions are unbelievable. The drivers often have to stay for extended periods of time to try to get through as many people as possible. It's just been a great job by this team to promote themselves and promote the series and bring in kids and bring in families and the merchandise with the little stuffed T-Rex and the Hot Wheels cars that have finally been released that are unbelievably difficult to get, but really something else. But great for them to hold on and win the championship as well. They did it because they qualified on pole. If they hadn't qualified on pole, the way the race had gone, they would not have been able to clinch the championship. So tremendous job by this team at AO Racing to get as many points as possible. That's why qualifying is important, and a really nice job for them to secure that championship. They also won a special marketing award as well from IMSA. So congratulations to that team. And hey, who doesn't love Rexy, especially when they had the wins too? I mean, just really going to the max with the teeth at the front is like, oh, we got a little gold tooth for each win. I mean, that's just super fun and really understanding to how to engage and bring in your audience. So really great job. Fantastic victory for the 01 Cadillac for Ganassi Racing. 10-hour race. This is the cool part about endurance sports car racing as well. They had troubles at the beginning of the race. They fell behind. They went down to lap, and Scott Dixon raced them back onto the lead lap, and then a tremendous pass late in the race to take over for the victory. The incredible drama at the end. Were they going to be black flagged or not because they were having electrical issues with their headlights? Really a super victory, and the capper on a great season for IMSA as well. Just a really good event. The schedule's out. Everybody's all excited for the new season coming in 25. It's been out for months now, and it'll kick off at Daytona in January, as it always does. So super fun there. The MX5 Cup also had a great couple of events to wrap up their season at Road Atlanta. Again, I love this series. It is so much fun to watch. The competition's so close. It's about drafting. It's about driver skill. Yeah, at times it's about banging into the back of the driver ahead of you to try to push them ahead and try to push the line. But it is a super fun series to watch. And they've just released their schedule for 2025 as well. They will be back on the Rolex weekend at Daytona. They will be back at the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg in March. Also know that our friends in St. Petersburg were thinking of you because of the terrible storm damage that that city and that area has endured in that part of Florida. They got a real double whammy in St. Petersburg. So we hope you're doing okay, and we hope you're bouncing back. And MX5 Cup will be coming back to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in July as well, which is, again, if you're at an event whether it's an IndyCar event like St. Pete, or whether it's an IMSA event like CTMP, or Daytona, or one of the others. And the MX5 Cup Series is racing. Watch and see how many people make a point of stopping to watch the MX5 Cup race. It's super fun, great competition. It's an ideal ground for drivers that are trying to move up to higher levels of sports car racing. And it's also super fun for teams that compete in it regularly on a full-time basis. They shuffle drivers in and out sometimes, but there are drivers that have competed for a long time. And a great job by Mazda and the support that they put behind it, with significant cash prizes for their participants as well. NASCAR continues to roll along, of course. They were at the Roval in Charlotte. I don't know what it is, but the name the Roval really bugs me. It's a road course that is within an oval track. I don't know if it was just something that was created to try to market and promote that event. It may be, but I don't know. It seems so odd because it is far from the first circuit to have a road course as part of an oval track. Let me see. Can I think of another one? Oh, yeah. There's that place in Daytona that they have this 24-hour endurance race every January. Yeah, their road course is part of the oval that is Daytona International Speedway. So I don't know. I don't know that we need a separate name for it. I guess if it was done to create it for marketing purposes or whatever, and that's fine. But a couple of things about this NASCAR weekend in Charlotte. The Xfinity race, officiating drawn into question once again because it took 40 seconds to throw a yellow flag for a car that was buried underneath the tire barrier. Shouldn't take that long. NASCAR acknowledged that it was tardy in getting the yellow flag out, made a mess, of course, of the whole Parker Kligerman thing. And that aside, it shouldn't take 40 seconds to throw a full course caution if a car is buried underneath a tire barrier. And the other big NASCAR story was, of course, the disqualification that took place. This was an elimination race in the NASCAR playoffs, and it looked like there was going to be one car that made it to the playoffs, except they got disqualified. Disqualified for being underweight, and that puts Joey Logano into the playoffs. Looked like Hendrick was going to have all four of their cars in, but no, the car was underweight. And I thought Brad Moran gave a pretty good explanation of the process and that they went through in terms of post-race technical inspection to make sure that the car was legal. Fueling the car, allowing them to do that and purge the water in and out of the system a couple of times just to make sure that the readings were correct and everybody got everything right. 17 pounds, or in excess of 17 pounds light. That's a lot. I mean, I know you want to be close to the tolerances. It seems like there's an overly complicated way of doing this too. Is there is a minimum weight, and then they allow the teams a 5% variance. Well, just tell us what it is. It's like the pit road speed is like the speed is 50, but we'll give you 55 before we penalize you. Well, no, then the speed is 55. Just tell me what the speed is. If you exceed it, you're penalized. If you're underweight, here's the minimum weight, period. If you exceed it or go below it in this case, then you're penalized. I don't think it needs to be overly complicated. Although at times, not just NASCAR, but other racing series seem to make things much more complicated than they need to be. Since we're talking about NASCAR, how about the playoffs and the point systems? When you have to keep watching the graphics on the side of a television broadcast to figure out who's in and who's out because the point system is so complicated, maybe there's a bit of an issue that we should be looking at. And no, I don't think it's because the playoffs are bad. It's an overly complicated point system. Oh, there's stage points, and then there's points for winning, and I don't know. It seems more complicated than it should be sometimes. So we'll see where it goes. But I'm fine with the zero tolerance. Here's the minimum weight. If you're below it, disqualified. Here's the pit road speed. Exceed it, you're penalized. I'm fine with drawing the line in the sand as opposed to, well, here it is, but we'll give you a little bit of variance. I understand that there are imperfect ways of doing these calculations and measurements, but I don't know. These ones seem pretty simple to me, and it shouldn't be that big a deal. Another interesting story from this past week, and it's a big story because she got so much attention when she jumped into first NASCAR and trucks, and then into the Xfinity series, and then has moved away from that. But Hailie Deegan has signed on to switch to open wheel racing. She's going to participate full time in the Indy Next series, the support series for the NTT IndyCar series. That's the last jump on the ladder before you make it into the IndyCar series. It's a really interesting move. She's not got the open wheel experience. It's come from, obviously, from off-road and ARCA and trucks and Xfinity. Didn't have an incredible deal of success as she got up to the higher ranks of stock car racing, and finds herself on the outside. Ran the Trans Am race at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. She participated there, and I thought that, I don't know, maybe that was the direction she was going to go, but she's decided and signed on to HMD Motorsports and will race in Indy next season in 2025. I think it's a great move for the series to have her as part of it because she draws so much attention. I think it's going to be really interesting to see and watch her and how she progresses. Absolutely has some talent. So how is that talent transferred now into open wheel racing? Some have been able to make the switch from one to the other successfully. It's proved to be a great challenge for others. I think it will be a challenge for Hailie Deegan, but if she's going to put in the work and do all she can to learn and absorb, then good for her. She'll get her first chance as she tests this week at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A little bit of buzz, of course, because this weekend Formula One is back in the United States after another lengthy break in their schedule. They will be back in the United States at Circuit of the Americas. Again, I was raving about Road Atlanta a little bit earlier. And again, it's been a couple of years since I've been to Circuit of the Americas, but boy, oh boy, do I like that track. It is so well suited to Formula One cars. It is such a challenge with so many different areas, good passing areas, the tricky sections in the middle of the infield, but a super fun track, great to watch. They'll have enormous crowds once again. And the championship battles, they are on. Still a bit of a gap in the drivers' championship with Max Verstappen holding I don't want to say a comfortable lead. He's got a significant lead, but I don't want to say comfortable. And of course, McLaren has taken over the manufacturer championship as well. So this will be fun. This will be worth watching. And of course, the other stop in the United States comes up a little bit later when they come in Vegas. But this is completely different. This is purpose built for Formula One at Circuit of the Americas. And it's on the outskirts of a fantastic city as well. And if you're thinking of a road trip, yeah, you could do a lot worse than going to Formula One weekend in Austin, Texas. So we'll see what comes of it this weekend in terms of activity. But we'll be back again next Wednesday at Todd Lewis Sports, at RevTV are the social handles. If you on X and on Instagram, if you've got thoughts, ideas, and questions. But enjoy a great weekend of racing. Back with you next Wednesday.